Hello, this is Mr. Bailey. In this tutorial, we're going to go over what you do with Adobe Premiere. And without further ado, I'm going to point out that my project files are all saved on my desktop in a folder called Project Files 1. You'll be downloading these and putting them and using them in your project if you haven't done so already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Adobe Premiere Pro. And it's going to think for a second because it takes a minute. It is a heavy lift of a program. There's an awful lot going on there. And once it opens, you'll come to a screen that looks just like this one right here. And so you can, on your own, do the learn thing. And I tried that, but I feel like it was easier for me to mess around and do it my way. So I'm going to close that. So when you open this up, you're going to hit File and you're going to hit New Project. And we're going to name it, First Project. And notice that it's like in this really obscure location. I'm going to browse to it just to see where it's being saved. It's being saved in the desktop. I'm actually going to save it in the same folder as Project Files 1, and then I'm going to select folder. All right, so these are two options that you pick from. We're going to pick the default one, and then video, time code, audio samples, format is DV. So we should be good to go on this. I'm going to move the strip over here. So I'm going to have to move the strip a lot because this is going to be quite the undertaking when I open up the program. So I click OK. And when you open up Adobe Premiere, there are essentially four parts to what you're looking at. The first lower left thing that I'm hovering over with my mouse is basically the project media source. This is the area where you're going to import your media, and you're going to put all of the clips and audio clips and things like that here from our project. So this is the first thing that you're going to be using. The second thing that you're going to be using then is called the timeline. What you do in the timeline is once you have media over here, you can drag it into the timeline. Once you have it into the timeline, you can also double click on it, and then that'll take us to the quadrant to the upper left. And this is what is known as the clip editor. And in this case, when you have a clip that you want to edit or you want to shorten or lengthen, you can do it in the clip editor. You can also apply different effects to that individual clip. And there's also a way too that you can apply effects to the clip by right-clicking on it, even when it's in the timeline. And we'll talk about that. And then last but not least, then there's the final program. This is the actual final timeline. So if I hit play on the timeline, it'll preview what it will actually look like up here. So you have your media, your imported media library, you have your timeline, you have your clip editor, and then you have your final project timeline preview pane up here. So that is the major areas. These are all available in the individual parts here in time, but for the most part, we'll be using any editing controls probably in the clip editor. But these are actually available everywhere else, and I'll show you how that works. That said, we're going to do the first step in a new project. We're going to right-click over this, and we are going to hit Import. And we're going to import media, and as it turns out, we have all of our media in here, and I'm actually going to have us import all of it. I'm going to click Control A, and then I'm going to unselect this first project because I really just want all of these things. If you want to know what media we're dealing with, these MAH files, those are video files. The logo is an image file. These are all image files. The subscribe to is an MP3 file, so that's a sound file. And then the varsity short intro is also a sound file. And then Twitter and YouTube are, at this point, JPEG files that we're going to put into our project. So I'm going to click Open. And what you'll see then is all of these files are now in the editor, this pane over here. And what I'm doing is I'm scrolling up and down, and that tells you what exactly we have here. So Now that we have imported the media into our project, we'll actually be able to piece together a timeline right here. And that's actually where I'm going to stop the first tutorial, and then I'm going to begin the second tutorial. So we have successfully imported project media at this point.